I turn to Kevin Lynch here. These 49ers, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out who are these guys? What is their identity, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, they came in and traditionally, under Harbaugh, they've been a running team. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think they should go back to the run. But, when I look back at it.
I bet Frank Gore would like to go back to the run.
Yeah, Frank Gore would definitely like to go back at it. But when they go into 3-receiver, 4-receiver formations, that's a really successful formation for them, if they can pass protect.
Right.
But, if you look at it in terms of yards produced, their 3- and 4-receiver formations are very successful. You just got to pass protect for it, and also you got to mix in the run and maybe get the other thing that they've gotten away from, I think, a little bit is the play action pass.
Okay.
Because when you're going 3 and 4 receivers, a lot of times you don't have a back in the backfield, so you're not doing the play action pass, and they were much more of a play action pass team in early years than they are now. So maybe they go back to that in the second half of the season.
You know what the Joe Schmo viewer out there is probably thinking? Why even change? Yeah, you got to go scheme to scheme, week to week, and game plan. But the 49ers are used to, we're going to dictate, you're not going to like it, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the other thing that they've gotten away from a little bit is they used to be a real matchup team, where they would isolate a matchup on offense, and they say, hey, look, this left corner can't play, we're going right at him. And they're not doing that as much. So maybe they go back to that a little bit as well. Also, you got Frank Gore. He is madder than a polecat in a barrel of molasses. I mean, so if you get him, he is ready to just get unleashed in the second half of the season.
Speaking of unleashed in the second half of the season, I not that I'm calling him out, but you never hear Crabtree's name. Mm-hmm. You never hear Vernon Davis's name involved in crucial points of the game. They have to be involved.
Yeah, they do.
Vernon Davis in a contract year, isn't he?
He is in a contract year. He's had the back injury. He's had a knee and ankle injury. He's not fully healthy, and I don't think he will be for the rest of the season. So he's got to learn how to deal with that and how to be a productive player while he's injured. And Crabtree, he's had a lot of drops. Stevie Johnson's really bumped himself up. And, when you look at things and you look at Colin Kaepernick, obviously, he's missed some throws like he did right there. But you look at him statistically, he is actually progressing, even though it doesn't seem like he is because they have 4 losses. But, his completion percentage is up. His yards passing is up. He is becoming a better quarterback. 49ers just aren't winning.
Yeah, well, something happens when they're inside the 5.
Yes.
And that play last week in the Rams, the play to Crabtree, that's a sprint right option.
Sprint right option, the old sprint right option with Jerry Rice.
He was right, just throw a dart right to him, but he threw it low.
Yeah. And that's where the inconsistency comes in. He can make the great pass and scramble around and find Anquan Bolden in the back of the end zone like he did in St. Louis. Or he can have a pretty easy throw right there for a touchdown, win the game, and he throws it low. So those are the things that he's going to try to work on and smooth out the rough edges.
All right, well, which brings us to tomorrow. How in the world are they going to get this win at New Orleans where they don't play very well? They've lost 7 of the last 8 meetings.
Right.
Saints are rolling a little bit. I mean, they got a little momentum going. So how in the world are these guys going to pull this off? They're 5.5-point underdog tomorrow.
Yeah, well, the thing they have to do is pass protect. I think that overall, and when you look at the first half of the season, that's their greatest failing. So they're going to have to be able to know when they're going to blitz. That New Orleans is going to blitz. They have Rob Ryan, who loves to blitz.
Right.
And they're going to have to know when to pass protect and when to only pass protect the 5 or 6. And so it's going to be a chess game as well. And then they're just going to have to play better. Those one-on-one matchups, when they get into a blitz situation, they got to pick up the blitz, and they're going to be one-on-one a lot, and they've got to win against Junior Gillette and Cameron Jordan and these other very fine defensive linemen for the Saints.
Insightful analysis by the great Kevin Lynch. And if you think, hey, you think I'm done? You think I'm done? No. We got more inside the 5 in a moment. All right, Mr. Lynch. You think Peyton Manning is sitting back? He's looking at T.J. Carey. He's looking at D.J. Hayden. He's going, all right, school will be in session. I'm going to expose you.
Oh, there's no question about that. It's interesting. When the 49ers played the Broncos, I think they made a mistake in not moving their secondary around more. And, Rodney Harrison had a really good comment about Peyton Manning. The way you beat him is you don't blitz him, but you move around the secondary, post-snap. You bring your safeties up, you bring the corners back. You don't have him get a clean read on things. And I think that's what the Patriots were really good in doing. And I think that's what the Raiders have to do. Even though they have a young secondary for a large part, except for Charles Woodson and maybe T. Brown, you got to move around back there.
So take away some of those reads, and then
take away some
after
reads.
A few seconds, that line can't hold them off forever. Somebody's going to pop through and get them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Khalil Mack game.
Okay.
He hasn't got a sack yet, but he's had lots of pressures, but he needs to get in the backfield. He needs to introduce himself.
I've been waiting to use the term Mack sack.
There you go.
I've waited 7 games to say. Haven't been able to say it yet.
Exactly. And they're playing better. I mean, under Sperano, I think the effort is there. Mm-hmm. And I think if Derek Carr can put together 2 halves, they're not an 0-8 team. They're a horrible schedule for the rest of the way. I mean, they got Seattle and they got a lot of tough opponents in the AFC West, but I think this team is going to eke out a win here somewhere.
Derek Carr, ultimate positive guy. I could say, Derek, my house is on fire. He'll be, you can live in the other part. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
right? Isn't he like that?
Yeah, relentlessly positive. And like Roger Craig that
exactly.
way.
Now, he's struggled a little bit these last few games, particularly with the picks that he threw against Seattle. But for him to get off, he's got to get off clean, and he's got to be able to hit these, whether it's a back shoulder throw, whatever. I mean, he's got to be able to just move this offense and do more than just manage the game, right?
Absolutely. He's got to be more than a game manager. He's got to be an explosive player. And that's tough, especially when you're a rookie. It's tough for a quarterback to be more than a game manager. Some players can't even do it, but I think he has the potential to be that way. And it's just too bad that with the Raiders' running game, McFadden, Maurice Jones-Drew, I mean, these guys just don't have much left. And I think that's where the Raiders have erred in many ways, is they constantly pick up guys, older veterans, who might be done or at the very end.
I got to tell you,
and that's been an issue.
But aren't you? I mean, we're about to say goodbye here, but aren't you a little shocked that they're last in the league in rushing? I mean, didn't you expect when you saw, Maurice Jones-Drew and then him in the same backfield as D-Mac, didn't you think that they would be able to do something? They can't do anything.
No, they really can't. And I think a lot of it's on them. That offensive line isn't half bad. And they can protect pretty well, and Carr can get the ball out of his hands quickly. Boy, if they had a running game, maybe they'd have 1 or 2 wins by now.
Nobody can say it better than Kevin Lynch. Thanks, my man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's fun.